Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Brian Matthew Ward, and he is the director of the film that is going to be filming shortly. We're here to talk about it, Voyeur. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad that we can do this. I know you reached out to me a couple of months ago and finally got back to you because I've been very busy first semester at grad school and
Oh,
working two
gotcha.
jobs.
Yeah.
So I was on a hiatus from Slasher Scotty, and I'm finally back at it for the summer months, and then I'll be going back on hiatus for the fall. But I'm glad that we can make this happen. I think we were scheduled for next week, but I'm going to be at my mom's out of town for the week, so I'm going to
I'm glad
be
to be here.
yeah, so here we are. We moved it up a couple days early, so I'm really happy to do that. So let's get started and just I guess give everybody an intro on how you got your start into filmmaking.
Okay, it's a little bit much, but I actually went to college for theater
Mm-hmm.
and studied acting in college and everything, but I had wanted to do film even back then. And while I was in my acting class, I ended up doing a short film, which was the first thing I ever filmed. This was way back 2003. And that my acting teacher encouraged me to do. And I've been doing short films, off and on ever since. And this will be my first feature length film.
Awesome, awesome. That's exciting. So for those that are, I mean, before we really get really started about talking about the movie, kind of give us a rundown about it. Like, what is the movie about?
All right, so I guess you would pretty much classify this as somewhere between a Giallo film and a slasher film. It's somewhere between, and it's basically dealing with the lives of several different women that gets interrupted by this serial killer that is targeting these women. And you're going to, within the course of this movie, it's going to be focusing way heavily on their lives and their interpersonal dramas more so than the actual what's going on with the killer. The killer is just like this looming force in the movie.
Okay, so where did this idea come from?
So I was back around 2009. Well, actually, let me back it up a little bit more because there was
Okay.
a little bit before that. I was coming up with an idea for a found footage horror film that I was going to call Voyeur, and then I ended up finding out about this movie called the Poughkeepsie Tapes, and I was like, well, that sounds exactly like what I was wanting to do. So never mind that. So I kept the name in mind, but put that idea aside. And then
Mhm.
about 2009, I was living in Los Angeles, and I worked at Universal Studios, but I didn't have a car, so a lot of times I would get off super late at night and be walking about an hour and a half home. And on those walks, I noticed quite often that it's eerily like silent to be in this big city, like just walking down the street, and it's just like, wow, I could totally be killed right now, and nobody would notice, because there's absolutely nothing going on in this crowded city. Everybody's asleep and everything.
Wow.
And so as I was walking down the street, I started coming up with these ideas for this film, basically all fueled off my nervousness of walking home. But yeah, that's where it sparked from.
Nice, nice. So, what do you see as any challenges coming up for this film? Like, is there any challenges that you can foresee?
Well, with me, I would always say the biggest challenges is money, which
Mhm.
we did have our fundraising campaign, and we have raised, I believe it was right over 6,000,
Okay,
but we can always use more to make the film better.
awesome.
We
So,
are in demand at the moment, so we are still accepting donations
awesome.
on
So, for
Indiegogo.
somebody that would like to donate to the crowdfunding campaign, where can they find the campaign, and is there any specific perks that you would like to highlight?
Okay, so the crowdfunding campaign can be found on our Facebook group, which is Voyeur the Movie,
Okay.
and you can find our crowdfunding campaign through there. And there's quite a few different perks. I believe most of the acting in the movie ones are taken right at the
Okay.
moment, but there's let's see, there's get a DVD copy, Blu-ray copy.
Right.
There's you can get a poster, you can get a bundle of that. You can get a special thanks in a movie. There's associate producer credit, executive producer, and things like that.
Okay, awesome. So, oh, sorry. So when do you plan on filming, and like, what are you going to be filming the movie at?
All right, so we are going to be starting filming on the second weekend of July, and we'll be filming through the end of the third weekend in July. And this will
Okay.
be in Goldsboro, North Carolina, that we're filming it.
Nice, nice. And do you have, and I know like you haven't even started filming yet, but do you have an anticipated release year?
So I am saying, just to give myself plenty of editing time, I'm saying December this year, like the
Okay.
end of the year, to give myself plenty of time.
Awesome, awesome. And where do you plan on releasing this? Do you plan on doing like film circuit, like the festival circuits? Do you plan on streaming or distribution? What are your goals for this?
So I wouldn't mind doing a bit of, like the film circuit and everything, but I was thinking about trying to, if I can, at bare minimum, aim for like a Tubi release or something of
Yeah.
that nature. Like I know a lot of filmmakers go through like Film Hub and stuff like that to do that. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Awesome. So, is there anything that you would like to hype without giving too much away, obviously, in the movie that you think that might shock somebody or might want somebody to tune in to see what might happen?
Um, I think that well, there's this scene that is my favorite scene, and I'm not going to describe it exactly, but it is my
Right.
own take on a shower scene,
Okay.
and I know for me that's like my favorite scene because I'm doing it a bit differently than what you typically see, and I'm hoping that interests people the way it does me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I always, and especially if it's a death scene, I love death scenes in a shower because you're at your most vulnerable, because
Yeah.
you don't expect like, somebody to kill you when you're bathing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like anytime you're in a situation where you're bathing, nude,
Yeah.
sleeping, like anything like that, where you're not in a position where you can defend yourself, it's pretty
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah,
And
I
then
go ahead.
the idea that someone sees you in your most vulnerable form, like nude
Yeah.
or whatever, is crazy too.
It is. And I remember when I was younger watching Friday the 13th part 4 when
Yeah.
Jason killed Doug in the shower, and the first time I saw that,
Hmm.
that scared the shit out of me. Like, I was always afraid to be in the shower. Like, I would always look out the curtain,
Yeah.
because it stood with me. Because like, just it's just scary, like somebody coming after you in the shower.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that one, like, well, that's my favorite Friday the 13th movie,
Yeah,
part four. But
yeah,
I think that one's interesting because it kind of flips, what was introduced in Psycho of a woman being in the shower. Now it's a
yeah,
guy. So I
yeah.
thought that was pretty interesting. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah,
and I
go
think
ahead.
that people weren't expecting that. They were probably expecting, the girl he was hooking up with to be the one to get killed like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
they
and
flipped it. That's the dude.
yeah, and that movie had a lot of vulnerability deaths.
Mhm.
Like even Paul with when he got the thing in the crotch, like
Yeah.
the spear in the crotch, that was scary. And like just so many things in that movie is just absolutely crazy. Like it is
Yeah.
it is my favorite as well. It's definitely
I
an
always
amazing.
just feel bad for Crispin Glover in the movie because I'm like, oh man, why?
Yeah, exactly. And all he wanted was a corkscrew.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the last question I got for you, do you have anything else that you would like to promote? Any social media websites, any websites at all? Any other film projects, anything at all that you would like to promote to the listening viewing audience?
So right at the moment, I guess you can search me up on various social media. It's my full name, Brian Matthew Ward.
Okay.
I'm on I'm on Facebook and Instagram mainly. Yeah, those
Okay.
are the main two. Yeah. So if
Okay.
anybody wants to follow me up there, and then like I say, if anybody wants to join the film group for Voyeur, I also intend on using that same film group whenever I transition to doing other films. I do have one in mind that I'm wanting to do probably sometime next year, but I haven't quite got that one ready to go yet.
Okay.
But that one, I'll just go ahead and give you the brief synopsis. you can get an idea of what I'm planning. But like the name we're going for with it is Slasher Camp Massacre, and it's going back to camp slashers. And so this one's a bit like, whereas Voyeur is a bit more serious, this one's very campy, very much so going back to a lot of those 80s slasher movies like the Friday the 13th franchise, Sleepaway Camp, which is one of my favorite franchises.
Nice.
And the concept is basically all these themed slasher killers all attack the same summer camp at the same time.
Nice.
So yeah, it should be pretty cool. So they're not just killing campers, they're going off against each other too. So
nice. That's really cool. So that'll be great. So anybody that wants to see that, you can find out more about that movie and also about Voyeur. Join the group on Facebook, and follow you all over your social media, Brian Matthew Ward. I thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, to let everybody know to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at /Scotty, and on Twitter /Scotty1. And of course on YouTube, like, subscribe, you want to slash that subscribe button. It's been a while since I did this. This is my second interview since my hiatus, but definitely slash the subscribe button on there. And if you're listening on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the podcasting platforms out there, make sure to like, comment, rate. I have Slasher Scotty merchandise. Pick that up at Virtual Merch Booths, which is my official merchandiser. And I just inked, a licensing deal with Funko Pops. Slasher Scotty will be a Funko Pop. So keep tuned to my social media when they are available to purchase as well. I just got the prototype. So excited about that. And of course, I have my book, The Ultimate Halloween Movie Experience, you can check out, which was published by 3i Books, forward by Jamie Lee Curtis. You can check it out on wherever books are sold, online, in stores, whatever. But again, thank you, Brian, so much for joining me tonight. It was so much fun, and I'm glad that we can make this happen. And if you're watching this, make sure to subscribe to his social media and to check out Voyeur. All right. Thank you so much.